We're here with our second Hall of Fame inductee for the fall of 2008, Mary Lou Arne. Welcome, Mary Lou.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kiergaard. I'm happy to be here.
So, Mary Lou, you started a program. You gave birth to a program in Wilmer.
In Wilmer. I did.
So, what was that program?
Basically, it was a program for other girls other than cheerleaders to have an opportunity to perform before the public and to induce more spirit into the basketball and football games, and to give them the opportunity to do something athletic, hopefully into the sport arena, and dance work.
What was the impetus? What caused you to want to do this?
I had moved here from California, where I had been in a dance line in high school and college, and I wanted to see to it that there was the same opportunity for other girls in Wilmer, because at that time, if you were a cheerleader for all the sports. So the rest of the girls didn't get a chance to perform in the public eye, and I thought they should.
Now, for those people who don't know what dance line is, how about if you tell us what it is?
It was a choreographed routines by 40 girls most of the time during the football and basketball seasons, up to 50 when we were able to put the freshmen in. And I did the choreography work and danced and worked with them in practice. And at the time that we started it, Dr. Kiergaard, we did it with pom-poms that the girls made themselves. And finally, at the end of my tenure, we were using pom-poms and white gloves to do performance gestures, I guess I would have to call it, actions. But it was everything that the girls are doing today, but the pace of the music was slower than today's Pep Fest, which was fun to watch, just wonderful to watch. But they still expended a lot of energy, and it took a lot of practice and precision to get it right.
Now, did you have a conversation with the superintendent back in when you started? In
55, yes.
In 55, how did you approach that?
I had known Mr. Wisness and Mr. Helland in a previous life, and so I was very comfortable in approaching them about it, and suggested that there be something for the girls, and they were game to the idea. And I got a film, an 8mm film from California, to show them exactly what it was, because they'd be going out on the limb because there wasn't another one in the state of Minnesota at the time. St. Louis Park had a dance line, but they did not have a large dance line, and they didn't use pom-poms. And the pom-poms were what gave it spirit and color. We did change that through the years, and they're still changing and evolving, which is fun to see. But I asked them if they were willing to look at it, and they said they would. So we had auditions. About 100 girls came out for auditions, and we picked between 40 and 50 that first year. Then they all had to be taught every single thing. And then when I thought they were good enough, we had a show for the principal and the superintendent, and they approved it.
In 1958, you did something special for a fairly new program. What was that?
Yes, we did. We had the opportunity. We were invited to this regional tournament in Minneapolis, basketball. We had a great team, and we went again to the state. When we went to the regional tournament, my husband took 30 girls into Minneapolis on the bus because I was homesick with the flu. He did a great job and really enjoyed it. Then we went back for the state, and I was able to take them to that. And it was a pretty fun night, each night, because we were the first time Minnesota people had seen that. Our group was the first time Minnesota people had seen that in the state.
I would imagine that a lot of people contacted you about how to start those programs. So do you think that you helped that dance line start as kind of a statewide effort?
That's possible. Our biggest thrill was when the University of Minnesota flew out. They came out to a Saturday morning practice to see what we were doing. They'd heard about us. Maybe someone in the threesome had actually seen us. I don't remember that now. But they went back and started a dance line at the University of Minnesota. So that's the biggest one I know about, and the only one I can honestly remember, although others grew out of it.
In 1959, Mary Lou, there was another big trip that had to have probably been a highlight for a lot of the girls.
That was an enormous year for us. We were invited to the opening of the St. Lawrence Seaway in Duluth, Superior. And we knew the caliber of the other units that were coming in. The most outstanding was the United States Navy Band. And so I talked to Mrs. Donna Haynes, who was a former majorette for Wilmer High School Band, and she taught us street marching, which we did not do. And we spent a good share of the spring practicing that on the streets of Wilmer. She was very, very good instructor, and I learned a lot from her, and the girls did too. And the girls did the additional trick of making their own Navy outfits for the performance. Then they went on the train. It was a wonderful experience on the train with Mr. and Mrs. John Haynes and Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Demjian were their chaperones. And they performed in Duluth and came home with a first place trophy. It was a pretty wonderful time for them.
One of the things I've heard is that your whole life has been spent volunteering in a wide variety of causes. You've given your time freely to a lot of different things. Could you tell us some of the things that you've done? I know we've talked about Dance Line, but that was only a small segment of your life.
Yes, I have. I've had a great time in Wilmer. I've really enjoyed the things that I have done. Aside from that, I was on the Wilmer Planning Commission for a number of years with a former principal, James Christensen. At the time, serving as our chairman, I was on the Pioneerland Library Board. I spent over 20 years in the Republican Party, and I was chair of many county and district candidates' campaigns, which I really enjoyed, and also worked with my husband Dick, who was county chairman at the time, about 8 years of that period of time. Loved it, really loved it. Then another big thing that I've worked on and been very proud of, the effort that has been put out, is the Wilmer Design Center, which is a group of volunteers who are trying to redevelop downtown Wilmer into a viable center once again for the community and for county offices. It will not be the same. We're not planning that it should be the same, and we're making progress. It's slow. There is not the money there used to be for that, and so we have to apply for grants in order to get the money that it's going to take to redo it. But it took 30 years to take downtown to where it is today, down, and it's going to take a good 10 to 15 years to bring it back. But it's been a marvelous experience.
Not only that, though, but you were a longtime employee of the district, weren't you?
Yes.
What was your position here?
I moved around from building to building, although I never had the privilege of working in the junior high. I worked in the grade school level and at the high school level. And I started in 1970 working for the English department in the Resource Center under the direction of Mr. Harold Larson, who was chair of the department at the time. I worked there for a number of years and then was transferred in a cutback to Garfield School, which I loved. It was a younger age of kids, and they loved to be read to, and introducing books to them was a lot of fun. Then we went to, I went back to the senior high. There was a combination of departments, and I was there for a few years, and then Roosevelt opened, and I was offered the opportunity to work full-time in their new media center there. So altogether, I spent 25 years in the school district and loved it.
Mary Lou, how about your family? Do you have family around here?
Yes, Dr. Kiergaard. We were lucky to raise 4 children in an excellent school system here in Wilmer. And we're proud of what our children have done as adults. And they all went all the way through school here, including a boy who majored in hunting out at the college. And he is now a command sergeant major in the National Guard and will be going to Iraq in the spring. And we have 2 daughters. One lives in Boston and one lives in Mankato. We have a son who passed away last summer in Seattle. And my husband, Dick, is in the real estate business and has been for years.
Well, Mary Lou, I want to congratulate you on your selection to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kiergaard. I have appreciated the honor for some time since I learned about it, got the letter in the mail. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to say thank you to the Cardettes. Thank you to the school district for continuing to support them. I'm very, very proud of that. And I can hardly believe that something I started 55 years ago is still going on. But it's a thrill. Thank you.